Hey y'all, it's me Alex. Today I'm doing a get ready with me and I'm going to be talking about the deleted scenes from the Jeffree and Shane documentary that is up on the Shane Dawson YouTube channel. It is called The End of the Beauty World. I actually watched it because basically I found out this week that Case had mentioned that they watched the entire 9 or whatever part documentary on the second one that had deleted scenes that I watched, and I didn't even do that. It was more that they were like, I wanted to watch something, that way I would know what you're talking about when you talk about the beauty community, and I thought that was super sweet, but I'm like, I didn't even watch that, bro. So I wanted to know what was going on, and I figured my self-hatred was going on pretty strong this week, so I might as well watch that for 20 minutes or whatever, because I read and watched a lot of other people's synopses of the original one because I didn't want to watch it. I'm gonna be using my ABH self-made palette, that way I can work on my panning of this. But I figure, you know what, I've never actually watched any of this, and since it's just one thing of deleted scenes, I might as well just, give it a shot. That way I can kind of see what all the hype is about. And I didn't see what all the hype is about. I feel like for background, I should say that I never actually really watched Shane Dawson's videos even before he started doing the Jeffree Star documentaries or anything like that. I was never a big fan of his. I was subscribed to his channel back in the day when I was in high school and early college, but I was big into YouTube culture, Dan and Phil and the Vlog Brothers, and I kind of felt like he was one of those people who I kind of had to be subscribed to in order to be considered a real YouTube fan, but I never really cared much for any of his videos. I watched them, but they weren't my favorite. So that already I think comes with a bit of bias from me, so I'm just gonna state that up front. I'm also obviously not really a fan of him now. If you know me, you know that I'm also not a Jeffree fan, and so that's why I didn't want to watch the entire documentary, because I really try to avoid hate watching things, but I did that this week. I watched it when it came out because I was kind of genuinely curious, because these were supposed to be the deleted scenes with all the tea and the drama, and the disappointment was real. So that's kind of my overarching thought, is that was disappointing. Was it kind of basically what I expected? Yes. Do I think that it was worth me watching it? No. And I think it's one of those things that you wouldn't enjoy unless you are a fan of either of them, and I am not. I get why other people were criticizing Shane's documentaries, and the air quotes are working real hard on that one, because it really wasn't a documentary. It did not feel like a documentary. It was a long form vlog. The transitions just made me cringe. It didn't feel professional at all. This is why I kind of make the content that I do, is because I know that if I did any sort of investigative, deep sorts of things, I know I wouldn't be able to do that well, and it would turn into a long form vlog from me, and I want to create better content than that. And I feel if that entire series was as this kind of deleted scenes thing was, then I can understand why people were criticizing it. But I can understand why people are criticizing it, because it didn't feel really informative. It felt kind of forced, and maybe it's also the fact that it's not something that I could particularly find relatable. I am not a person who is interested in the lifestyles of the rich and famous, because I'm bitch, I'm broke. I am a college student on a budget. None of that stuff is useful to me. I don't see the point of me consuming content like that. It doesn't entertain me. It makes me kind of think about the state of the world and sustainability and all of that. I will say that also definitely led into some of my biases there. Now let's talk about these specific things. First, I want to talk about the $18,000 trip, because I'm just going to talk about the parts that I found the most interesting and kind of caught my eye the most. So the $18,000 plane ride, that part, the entire time I was watching that, I was I don't know, I can't imagine having it's part of what I was saying before, like I can't imagine having that kind of expendable income where I could just drop $18,000 on a private jet trip to somewhere. Kind of blew my mind, and it also made me think about like private jets in general are very, very, very bad for the environment. So that's just like not something I could really fathom doing. I don't know. There's certain luxuries in life that I personally can't imagine having or using when I know that there are so many people in need. And that's probably really arrogant of me to say, like, I don't live their life. To a certain extent, that is how I feel of like, if I had that amount of money, I'm not sure if that's exactly what I would be doing with it. But I'm also someone who is not in the position to have a significant amount of money, so I might be wrong if I ever actually came into that amount of cash. So that's one thing that just kind of like irked me a bit, is like, that's what we're funding here, the lifestyles of the rich and famous. It just doesn't friggin' appeal to me. I did not enjoy that at all. The break-in part, I don't really have any feelings about, because I know that that must be, it seemed like it was definitely a really scary situation, and I don't ever want to, like, I know a lot of people are saying like, oh, that part was fake, and like I can understand, you know, like being skeptical, especially, you know, when you are trying to make money off of something. I can understand being skeptical. You know, it obviously must have been scary to be in that situation, and I don't really have much, I just don't have any other thoughts to offer about that. Like, I don't, that part is not one of the things that like really drew me in. One of the things that was getting to me the most was kind of Shane's reaction to Dramageddon Part 2. That part just kind of bothered me overall, because I know he was promising like, this is the one with more drama, that way you can see it, and even then I don't feel like it actually gave any sort of closure or perspective, and I don't think I would have been as disappointed by that if, you know, the drama thing wasn't something that he had advertised since the beginning of the series as kind of part of the series. And it kind of felt like Shane enjoys the drama but doesn't want to, like, act like he enjoys the drama. That's kind of the sense that I was getting from his, like, rant. I overall felt like that rant was just, like, really, really dramatic. Like, I get that this was something that affected people's lives and careers and stuff, but, like, I feel like if you're getting into, if you want to actually, you know, go behind the scenes of like scandals and what happens there, you can't just show your reaction to them. I don't know if that particularly makes sense, but like I would have loved to actually see, you know, what was Jeffree thinking? Was he able to talk to Tati at all? Or James or anything like that? Like, that was overall just disappointing, because it just seemed like, oh, I want the drama to stop, this is obnoxious, everyone needs to shut up. Like, I mean, I feel like that about the beauty community on a regular basis, so maybe Shane is being a voice for us regular old people. I feel like if that's something that you are going to promise, you know, you can't just like give your dramatic ass reaction as you're just like walking down the street, because that's just like not appealing. It doesn't make sense to me. It still felt very underwhelming, and like I understand, I feel like at this point it's probably underwhelming because all of like the legal stuff has already happened, and so he wasn't able to deliver on the drama like he anticipated, because I have a feeling like, you know, James Charles got on the whole lawyer bandwagon and kind of made that happen potentially in the middle of filming the series. I can understand how that would make one change direction. However, like, that's kind of the issue I take with him, like, kind of teasing this series before everything is kind of finished, is that, like, things can obviously take a very, very different direction than what you originally anticipate. And so you don't want to do, like, false advertising when things, like, go differently, because that's why I kind of got the feel that this was just an entire big ol' advertisement for his palette. Speaking of that, by the way, did y'all notice that kind of gratuitous little bit at the beginning of like, oh, we didn't even need to make this series, we knew it would have sold out? Maybe that was kind of a little dig at the people being like, oh, this is just a long form ad, but at the same time it feels very like gratuitous pat on the back. Like, that just rubbed me the wrong way, and maybe I'm taking that part too personally. It got on my nerves a little bit to hear that. And then also there was a brand trip. So basically Morgan had said that like people were really mean to her when she had gone on a brand trip, like it was a very Mean Girls type situation, and everyone was kind of being very fake, which was no surprise to me. Like, I think to a certain extent, when your job kind of is you marketing the best version of yourself online, you're probably not going to be the best person in person, or at least not the best version of yourself in person. And I was almost kind of like, name names. I want to know because I want to know who not to support. But then again, I obviously recognize that that would definitely be a bad move on her part because, like, you know, like, I hope people aren't that mean, but there's that little, like, part of me that's like, I don't just want to know the details of what happened because obviously people are gonna suck, but like, name names so I know who not to mess with, because I feel like if you're making a career where behind other people's backs you're basically like a mean person, I would want to know. But then again, on the other hand, like, I don't understand. What kind of got me is the part where Jeffree was like, oh yeah, everyone's fake behind other people's backs, everyone is like, they smuggle drugs to these events, everyone's fake, everyone's mean behind other people's backs, it's hard to find genuine people. I'm like, so, because Jeffree does not come across as the most genuine person in the world to me, like, the hypocrisy to me kind of jumped out on that one, because, like, you know, he portrays himself one way in, like, videos and stuff, but then he also goes on to bully fans on Twitter. I'm just saying, maybe he's not exactly the, like, I'm not going to deny Morgan's experiences or anything like that, because obviously I know that people can be horrible, but I am saying that it is a little bit ironic that Jeffree is the one to be calling that out. Because I think I have all of my thoughts. Now I'm gonna put on my lipstick, Milani69, because I got places to be and things to do and another video to film. Okay, so this look is like very basic and smoky, but I feel like I look really good. Like, this is a good palette. I don't think it got nearly enough hype, and I know it was limited edition, so obviously people aren't really using it anymore, but I really like this one. I think this is a good palette. Anyway, let me know like what your thoughts are on the Jeffree and Shane deleted scenes, the end of the beauty world. Just because, like, I'm curious to see what other people think. Like, I'm probably jaded because I didn't want to watch the series because I'm not a Jeffree fan or a Shane fan or anything like that, so that might just be me being bitter. I do hope that Shane doesn't just use this channel to kind of do videos like that. I hope that he genuinely uses his channel, his makeup channel, to do actual makeup related content, because I really don't, like, to me he definitely seems like he's, you know, jumping into the makeup industry for the money, but I really hope that that's not the case, because I do love when people find a genuine, like, love of makeup. So I'm really hoping that that's not the case with him, and that he is able to use his channel for things other than, like, clout, and that he can show his genuine joy for makeup. Let me know what you think, and yeah, I'm gonna go film another video. That is it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe down below if you want to see more videos from me, and I will see you on my next one. Hope you'll have a wonderful day. Bye!